So on today's episode, you're going to find out how to use eBay as a marketing channel if you're a direct-to-consumer e-commerce brand. It's a great episode you don't want to miss, so do stay tuned. Hey everybody, it's Kunle Campbell of the 2X e-commerce podcast show. Welcome to this podcast. Now, this podcast will be aired on the 24th of December, 2020. So with smack bang at the start of the holidays, really. So wherever you are in the world, happy holidays. Enjoy the Christmas ahead, I have to say. And it's been a great journey, 2020. On today's episode, it's a super exciting one. Let me start out with the top, say, 5 e-commerce companies by sales in the United States. The first is Amazon. This is by eMarketer, by the way. Is Amazon at $309 billion. So it's actually $309.5 billion. The second is Walmart, which is about $46.2 billion, and that also includes groceries. And then you have eBay, which is 38 billion. eBay is almost like a tenth of Amazon. Now, we're going to be talking about eBay, but trading eBay is Apple at 27 billion, which is very significant. And then Home Depot in America, which is very interesting, which is about $16.17 billion. I want to talk about eBay. So I have someone from eBay on today's episode, and we're going to talk about the opportunities for direct-to-consumer e-commerce with eBay. They are opportunities. Don't look at eBay as a place where you could diminish your brand, value, essentially, where you could erode your brand equity. They are opportunities, and that's what we're going to talk about in this episode. There are certain things the big boys are doing on eBay, or the bigger players, the big retail players are doing on eBay, which you could potentially replicate or tweak to suit or find other potential customers, or to essentially be more efficient from an inventory standpoint, essentially. I'm not going to talk too much because you have to listen to this in depth. Into this, you need to listen to the start and the end of this episode to really appreciate the eBay opportunity, essentially. Now, if you're listening to this on iTunes, on Apple Podcast, on Spotify, remember to subscribe. If you're watching this particular episode on YouTube, please subscribe, just get information that would help you sell better directly to your consumers. This is a show essentially about e-commerce, like brand focused e-commerce. And if you're building a brand in the e-commerce space, you're part of an e-commerce brand, a brand that happens to sell directly via digital, you're tuned into the right show, essentially. I don't think there's any better show, and that is me blowing my own trumpet, but it's fact. Okay, so essentially listen to this episode. It is, if you're really trying to, I wouldn't necessarily say overly diversify. Your eBay strategy will be different from your Amazon if you ever want to go, down the route of Amazon. And it is definitely different from what you're doing selling direct to consumer. And it offers a lot more control than any other marketplace, available. I'm not going to babble too much. Have a great holiday ahead. I guess the next time you hear back from me would be the episode on the 31st. So they're still going to hear from me this year, essentially, technically. So enjoy and just have fun with the show. Cheers. Welcome to X's. Welcome to the 2X e-commerce podcast show. Now, I'm your host, Kunle Campbell, and this is the e-commerce podcast dedicated to rapid growth in direct-to-consumer e-commerce. So if you work in marketing, you're an e-commerce founder, or you're involved in the process of selling direct to customers, this is the podcast to listen to. Do you know why? It's because every week I look for experts that will help you maximize metrics such as conversions, average order value, repeat customers, audience size, and ultimately sales. So on today's episode, when the opportunity to speak with someone from this company, which you all know, came to my desk, I was like, I must grab it, and that's because it's eBay. So I'm joined by Christine. She is the Senior Manager of Go-to-Market Strategy and Operations at eBay. And her role essentially is really updating, the public about their seller, seller programs and, changes, major changes on eBay. And what we really want to talk about is you as a direct-to-consumer commerce brand. What are the opportunities on eBay as another channel, you could use to really essentially grow, the metrics I talked about earlier. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome Christine Venter-Diemos to the show. Welcome, Christine.
No, thanks so much for having me. I'm so excited. To your point, anytime I get a chance to talk about why eBay is a great place to be selling, I am just eat it up and get so excited. So thanks for having me.
I feel the energy from here. Fantastic. So where are you dialing in from?
So I am in Salt Lake City, Utah. So getting chilly out here, getting some snow. And so we're getting ready for the holidays.
Fantastic. Is eBay headquartered in Utah or?
Great question. No, eBay headquartered in San Jose, got to be in Silicon Valley. But yeah, we have quite a big office out here in Salt Lake. Of course, none of us are at the office right now, but we have quite a few business roles out here. And then we also have all of our customer service out here in Salt Lake. And we also have it in Austin and other places, but we have a pretty big office. I'm really missing seeing all my office friends. So hope we all get back there someday.
Hopefully, hopefully it'll come. It's close. Hopefully, with the vaccines.
Yes, we're getting there. So we've made it this far.
Exactly. Yes. Exactly. I'm going to jump right down to my thoughts. I have a lot of thoughts about eBay because when you talk about eBay, there's a lot of nostalgia. We're going back into the 90s, and we'd seen this evolution, of eBay. Obviously, eBay has always been known as an auction, marketplace where you get deals from. And at one point in the past, eBay was head on head with Amazon. You guys were competing very, very hard with Amazon. Now, with you on the show, could you sort of give us just a brief history of where eBay is coming from and where you see it, in 2021?
Yeah, absolutely, Canal. So I have actually been with eBay since 2001. So I joined right after the heydays. Yeah. Who knew? So I have not only can I tell you, I lived it. So, I've been here through, really extreme growth, some different turnarounds. And then now in these COVID-19 times, which are something, none of us have seen in e-commerce, but really the last year or two, what we've realized is we want to compete and win in the areas that make the most sense. So we know that buyers come to us for the unique, hard to find items. We know that the Gen Z and the millennials love reusing and recycling. And then also we know that people still come to us for new products and great deals. So that's where we're working to compete and help our sellers be successful. I think I mentioned we had our biggest Cyber 5 ever this year. And so we're continually growing and sellers are having, being able to grow their business and have great successes on eBay still, even after all these years. In fact, last thing I'll say is we just had our 25th anniversary. And so still here, still trucking along and still supporting our sellers. So yeah.
It's incredible. So come 2021, you'd be 20 years exactly at eBay. Fascinating.
That's right.
Yeah. So what I picked up from what you just said was one, eBay is known for the pre-loved, pre-owned, which is really rings true with the Gen Zs who are more sustainable in mindset.
Yep.
And then eBay's where you get bargains from. And it's quite interesting. That is the space you're choosing in e-commerce. You have the scale, you have the user base. So how does this fit with direct-to-consumer commerce? What sorts of direct-to-consumer, what should be the approach? If I was like an e-commerce director at a direct-to-consumer, brand listening to this episode, how can I use eBay to help with our bottom line at the same time retain our brand perception, just our brand equity?
Yep. Oh my gosh, such a good question. So you're exactly right. So first thing, that anyone gets by coming to eBay and selling on eBay is access to 183 million buyers, like across the world. So immediate access to that, and also low risk. So, there's always a cost of, onboarding to a new marketplace or updating your website or whatever. And we have lots of great value where you can list lots of items, sometimes for free to get started, or if you open stores, you have opportunity there. And then another really cool thing is a direct to consumer. If you have your own following, say, or your own website, if you ever use our eBay partner network and you direct people to buy some of your eBay listings, you actually pay no final value fees. And so there's lots of ways that you can make it really economical to start selling on eBay. And then, as you can imagine, like, our number one thing is we never compete with our sellers. We know there are other marketplaces that use data or insights or analytics to find out what products are hot and potentially maybe bring those on their own. We would never do that. Like, our thing is, like, we are here for our sellers. Their success is ours, and there's little risk to getting started. So I think there's a lot of benefit to just coming on and giving it a try.
Interesting. Super interesting. Okay, so at the high end of the scale, you have retailers, in the UK at least, retailers like Ann Summers, Argos, Office Shoes, Mountain Warehouse, Get the Label, DC Shoes, all having outlets, outlet stores on eBay. They have a presence. You could almost, you could browse their stores like you're browsing their website, but most of the time, what they have on eBay slightly differs to what they have on site. Do you think, direct to consumer e-commerce businesses can take on this approach?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's such a great idea. We see, like you said, in eBay UK, there are all those awesome retailers who do it. And we see in North America, a lot of sellers do that as well. So some sellers and some brands choose to just put certain products on eBay. And I think that's great. And I think, like, a lot of times eBay people are coming and looking for deals, or for that, older item that maybe.
Let's take a quick break to hear from our sponsors. Klaviyo is a growth marketing platform that powers over 25,000 online businesses. Klaviyo understands every single customer interaction and empowers brands to create more personalized marketing moments. Listen, analyze, and act on your customer data with Klaviyo. Visit klaviyo.com/2x.
Isn't available as much anymore. So I think that's a great place to start, is like kind of that outlet mindset. I think that's a great place to start. And then, like I said, it's pretty inexpensive and there's not a lot of risk to also just adding additional inventory. So some sellers decide to lean in on like the bargain or discounted or returned items, but then also sometimes include some of their new items as well, because the buyers are there and they may decide to just go with the regular new in-season item. So it's a great kind of combination approach that can help a lot of businesses. I agree.
Okay, so what about visibility? So it's one thing having a listing on eBay, but it's another actually having it seen by 185 million users or shoppers. What tips do you have to DTC, brands listening now on how to sort of gain rapid exposure for what they sell on eBay? What you have? Yeah.
Yep, totally. That's such an important question. So there's a few base level things that we recommend, and then there's things you can add on. So, the very basic stuff is stuff you would automatically assume, which is like having a great title on your listing, having great photos that show the buyer exactly what they're getting. And then obviously in eBay, we use something called item specific. So that's basically your brand, your color, your size, your dimensions, and things like that. So making sure you have great item specifics. And then of course, price. You do want to compete on price. That's part of the search algorithm, of course. So those few basic things are kind of like the base level to get yourself a great listing. And then there's multiple things you can do on top of that to increase exposure. We have a program that's kind of like our internal ads program called Promoted Listings, where basically you can pay an additional fee to get your listing sponsored right there on eBay. And that can often give you quite a bump, and you get visibility not only in search, but on some of the placements on view item. You get placements sometimes on the sidebar. So it gives you additional exposure that way. And so that's another way. And then there's also, we just have tons of marketing tools. So we have tools where you can do discounted price. We even have a cool tool that we've just kind of expanded to our business sellers to do it in bulk, where if you get visibility, if you have buyers who are either watching your items or potentially have them in your cart, you can send them offers in a bulk way with a slight discount, and then they often buy on that. We've seen huge success with our best offer program. So once you've got your listing up, there's tons of ways that you can promote and get eyeballs on them. So yeah, definitely.
Super interesting. It's like a shopping cart abandonment, flow you can have on eBay, which you can't have in many other marketplaces.
That's right.
Right. Okay. Then what about inventory? So with some other marketplaces like Amazon, you have the FBA program, the Fulfilled by Amazon, program with inventory. How does eBay? What does eBay offer? Any logistics support to sellers, or do sellers just have that full control with their inventory and then just ship their eBay orders as if they were shipping off their website?
Yep, exactly. Such an important question. So yeah, we don't have the comparable Fulfilled by Amazon, but we give sellers full control ultimately. Like you said, like they can use their current shipping logistics, their current rates. A lot of these big businesses already have great rates with the carriers, so you can use those. Or if you're smaller and you don't already have great negotiated rates, if you ship, you can ship and use eBay labels. And we are integrated with all of the big carriers in North America, USPS, UPS, FedEx, et cetera. And we offer discounted rates through our shipping program. So there's lots of different ways, and sellers can really customize it based on what works best for their business.
Okay. And then obviously, I believe, payments would be by PayPal, or do you have any other options, other payment options?
Yes, that's such a great question. You're so timely. So a couple of years ago, we actually launched a new program, which is basically accepting payments on eBay. So PayPal is still obviously an important part, and buyers can still always pay via PayPal. But now the majority of our sellers are transitioning to our payment system directly on eBay, which allows you to accept credit card, Google Pay, Apple Pay, and all the regular payment methods. Because we often heard from young buyers is like, I came to eBay, I want to buy something, but like now I have to have a PayPal account and register there. And now you can just use Apple Pay on most listings, just like you would. By the end of next year, majority of listings should all be on our new payment system. So that's a huge improvement we've made over the past few years, is just making it so much easier for buyers to buy and for sellers to accept whatever payment methods they want. So yeah, we're super excited about that.
Super interesting. Another question I have is in regards to usage of eBay. So you obviously have eBay for the web, on desktop, on mobile web, and then you have the app. Where is eBay seeing more traffic? From what medium, from what kind of devices and what kind of browsers, or is it from the app?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, such a good question. So we see at least half of our traffic going through the app and more. Of course, it depends on the vertical, but we see luxury watches bought through the app. We see everything from a luxury watch to a t-shirt bought in the app. So the app gets tons and tons and tons of views. So we always recommend, like, you don't want your listing to be overly complicated. You don't want to have too much unnecessary info in your item description, because most people are at least starting in the app, and then some will move to online. And we still get quite a bit of traffic on desktop, but as we know, everyone's going mobile, and so we're there, and our app is, we get great feedback on it, and people love it. So yeah, definitely want to optimize for mobile, web, and the app.
Okay, so from a presentation of like your, so obviously the product pages are like prior to like checkout to like the where transactions actually occur. What tips do you have to direct to consumer e-commerce businesses listening to this episode around the proper structure of their product pages? Do they brand it with HTML and with their brands basically because you allow HTML, or should they keep it simple?
Yeah, such a great question. So our recommendation is totally to keep it simple and let your title.
Let's take a quick break to hear from our sponsors. Did you know that cloud-hosted e-commerce platforms like Shopify and BigCommerce do not provide automatic backups? Rewind steps in to protect Shopify and BigCommerce stores with automatic backups. Rewind is trusted by over 25,000 stores. Install Rewind and get to test it for free over 7 days. And to extend the 7-day trial to 30 days, head over to rewind.io, their website, and mention 2x eCommerce.
And photos do the talking. As we know, everyone's so image-based. And so we basically want you to have great photos, because as you imagine in the app, that's what buyers see the most of is the price and the photos. And so that's so important. And like you can still add some important information in the description, but we know most people are looking at the photos, the item specifics, and then the title. And one silly fun note is the eBay app is also now dark mode compatible. So we're hip to the dark mode. So got to have that dark mode. It makes it easier to see and then makes us feel a little bit cooler too. So yeah, we love that dark mode.
Yeah, the dark mode. Okay. All right, cool. I think my final question has got to go back to your you talked about the Black Friday, your Black Friday performance. How do you have any figures as to what sort of success you had on eBay in regards to this year? Why was this year your most successful ever?
Yeah, great question, Kunal. So, I mean, obviously, COVID-19 with people being home is helping. Like, let's be transparent about that. People aren't in stores as much. I think all of e-commerce we know is growing. So obviously that's part of it, but really I don't think that's everything. Like we mentioned, we broke all sales records for our biggest Cyber 5. And we saw a lot of the success was driven by those hard to find and out of stock items. But like I mentioned, refurbished gifts also emerged. Like we mentioned, like those younger buyers, like refurb is as good as anything. And then we also saw, of course, lots of gifting from Rolexes to Pokemon cards and whatnot. So when we saw sneakers, like most of our categories were just growing and doing awesome. And so again, like rather you're in like the more of an outlet and thinking about that, that's a great place to be, or just so many buyers are coming to eBay now. And again, we would be your partner. So it's a great place to just try. But yeah, so we're so excited to see the growth in refurbished and obviously people being at home with hobbies. We're seeing lots in like puzzles and all the good stuff. So yeah.
You've made an extremely important point, and it's just sort of rang alarm bells in my head. And I could give you a use case, and this is to you, direct to consumer e-commerce, businesses listening onto this episode. A use case in which like your return rate is 10 to 20%. It's not unheard of, and you could refurb it, put it on eBay, and still promote the eBay with your list, saying, if you want to buy, refurbed gadget from us, head over to our eBay store, and that way you reduce waste, in that respect, because you will find buyers, they'll be slightly discounted. You just refurb and repackage them, and then, as a business, you reduce the amount of, goods that, end up in
landfill. Yeah, exactly. I totally agree. Like, I think like we mentioned, I think we said it a few times, but the younger shoppers, this is important to them and they care about sustainability and they care about like how a company is supporting that. And I think we all care about like protecting the earth. And so I think you're totally right. And even we're seeing younger buyers, like even gifting refurb, like they trust it. They actually think it's fun to like say like, hey, this was refurbished, so it's not in a landfill and it's you working as good as new. So I totally agree. And I think that's a great strategy to explore.
Okay. And then, so as I said, that's the final question, but I really wanted to ask this question, which is around fees. How do you compare, how does eBay compare to other marketplaces in regards to what's the cost of ownership with for an eBay store?
Yeah, great question.
as a
So
channel?
as you can imagine, we have so many options depending on the business size, depending on how much they want to invest. We have about 4 different store tiers, and each store offers different sort of benefits. So if you go with the largest store, you get, thousands and thousands of free listings. You get additional support. You get additional shipping supplies. We even give our sellers coupons to use eBay boxes and stuff in their shipping. And then, a lot of the cost comes in our final value fees, and we're very comparable to all other marketplaces. And then, like I mentioned, there are lots of other ways where sellers can reduce their fees. Again, having a store can help. And then also, like I mentioned, if a seller has their own website or their own social media following, and if they use the eBay Partner Network, they actually can pay $0 in final value fees. So if like they're promoting their eBay listing elsewhere using an eBay Partner Network affiliate link, the buyer comes to eBay and buys it, like the seller pays no fees on that. Yeah, so there's all kinds of ways to make it right and economical. It's of course hard to speak generally because it depends on the business, but that's another thing is like we have, business customer service people who are always available and want to help sellers onboard. And we have an integrations team that if like you're integrated with Channel Advisor or some other third party and you need support, we have all the support for sellers to help them get on board as well. So yeah, great question.
Incredible, Christine. Thank you so much for your insights into eBay. I'm definitely convinced that a number of e-commerce managers, e-commerce directors listening to this episode will try out eBay in some way, shape, or form. I'm not sure how, whether it be for listings, whether it be the refurbs, whether it be as a clearance outlets. It's best to experiment, but yeah,
that's right, exactly.
It was quite insightful. Thank you so much.
Yes. Oh, thank you so much for having me, and hope everyone stays safe and happy holidays, and just so excited to chat with you, and we'll have to do it again sometime.
Absolutely. For those listening, tomorrow is Christmas, so Merry Christmas to you guys and happy holidays.
Merry Christmas. Yes.
Okay. All right. Cheers. Thank you.
Cheers. Thanks.
Bye.